Hi guys, my name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's go back to what I was saying about what happened at Lansdowne Court. Whenever I phoned the police, they didn't do anything. They did not remove that ad off of Gumtree that had named my address. Everything, the flat number, everything. And it stayed on there for a good month before I sorted it out myself. Now, isn't putting someone's whole name and address all over the internet dangerous? Shouldn't I be protected? No. So for about a month, not many callers, but there was about 15 or 20 of them calling for a Swedish massage at Lansdowne Court. And the police would not help me remove that ad off of Gumtree. I had to do it myself. And bear in mind that the police call me nuts and mad. How would a mad woman be able to get that off of Gumtree? It took me ages, but I got it removed in the end. The workers that I've had over the years that are supposed to have helped me, there was one called Aaron, and he worked for West Kent Housing, and he was a small man that came out to my Lansdowne Court flat, and he helped me get a washing machine, and he helped me get a government grant for a washing machine, and that broke. I used to go out to the library and come back and find things in my flat broken. I bought an office chair as well, and I came back and it was in pieces all over the floor. So, but the police never at any stage thought I was in danger from being murdered or harmed. They just left me in complete danger. Whenever I reported a perpetrator to the police, they would put me in a cell or accuse me of being mad, and the perpetrator would be free to walk about, because these so-called police possibly thought that I would get murdered or beaten up, thrown down the stairs and hospitalised. And they would talk to my perpetrator as if they were best friends with them, and then just leave me in a dangerous situation. I called 999, I found it engaged when I was literally being attacked with a chair, and that could have gone into my head and killed me. I have been physically attacked, and they've left me with the perpetrator. They've actually brought the perpetrator, put the perpetrator not enough distance, and the perpetrator's come back and tried to attack me again. They see my name, and they seem to think, oh, we're not going to help that woman. There's something on my police files that whenever the police come out, they don't do anything, they don't help. And yes, I've called the police about 3 or 4 times with worries that I'm going to get murdered and attacked, and I've ended up in a prison cell. Now that is a long time ago, and I've forgotten about it, and I've moved on. But I'm very dubious about calling the police, because they don't do anything to help me when I'm in danger. There is, now at the moment, the neighbour upstairs, his kid sounds like he's pulling chairs across the ceiling floor. I'm not going up to my mum's today. Sorry, my phone's playing up. I'm not going up my mum's today, because every time the kid plays upstairs at the weekend, they think I'm going to go out to town, or I'm going to go up to my mum and dad's, and the flat's free for anyone to come into, or perhaps they just want to do what they like, and if I'm out the flat they can do it. So banging and screaming gets me out the flat, doesn't it? It's going on again this morning. I'm tired. My face hurts. And I'm in the same situation as I usually am, vulnerable, afraid, and forced out of my flat when there's men walking around the field that I don't know, dogs jumping on me, and yeah, I'm sick of the nobody cares, I know that, but I care. So I'm going to read that book later. These are the pyjamas I got from Blue Water Primark. They're supposed to be large, and they're not. They're a bit, the top's a bit tight, and you know, they feel a bit small for 16. So I got these. I got a Disney t-shirt with Donald Duck on, and I got this lovely pink purse. Right, a pink purse. My mum's birthday is on the 14th of May. I haven't got that. She wanted me to see if I could get a bra and her some clothes. But whenever I go out, it feels like I am being attacked by a herd of elephants trying to dig their horns in me, and I don't feel like going shopping. And I've not got enough money in my bank at the moment to buy my mum anything. You know, I woke up yesterday, I was actually trying to keep fit around the fields. I was smiling, I was happy, the sun was out, and it happens every bloody day. I come back to this horrendous noise, this hatred, and I've done absolutely nothing wrong to anybody. They think I'm a sort of entertainment, amusement, because it's my mother that can come across as somewhat aggressive. My mother. And when they ring up, she gets all agitated and she can't breathe properly. She's a source of amusement to some people, but it's not me, you know. My mum was talking about how she was in Maudsley Hospital. Jennifer was, not me, Crystal. Jennifer was in Maudsley Hospital, and basically, you know, have you heard from about Bedlam? It was a very horrible mental health place. Well, she said she was in the Bethlem part of Maudsley Hospital some years back in London, and the patients used to try and attack her with the cutlery. The cutlery. Now, when I was a little girl, I used to visit my mum in these mental health institutions, and if they frightened an adult, don't you think they frightened a little child watching your mum in a secure mental hospital? My mother, Jennifer, not my son's mother, because this is Crystal's online diary, it's not my son. So I'm talking about my mum, Jennifer, being in a secure psychiatric unit when I was a little girl. And I saw all these dangerous inmates in this mental secure unit that she was put in. I don't deserve this treatment. It's aimed at the wrong person. And somebody that is mentally ill should be looked after and put somewhere where they're not a danger to society. So if my mum is still mentally ill, Jennifer, she should be looked after. She shouldn't be a source of amusement and fun for other people to think it's funny, because one day she could go outside and do some harm to somebody, and it's not funny when that happens, is it? She was in Maudsley Hospital, in a secure mental hospital at one stage. She stopped receiving mental health care when I came down, and I was the one that was getting accused of being mentally ill, and all my mother's workers disappeared when she had chronic schizophrenia. Right? She thinks me, Crystal, is copying her, and other people outside are copying my mother, Jennifer. Everyone wants to be a 75-year-old lady, and she's also said other things. And don't you think she needs help. It's not me. You're aiming it at the wrong person. I've never been classed as being a schizophrenic. So when I was called schizo the other day, that was aimed at my mother Jennifer as well. It's not very nice, is it? Bullying the vulnerable. And this is what happens. They let mental health patients outside and they attack people and murder them. And it's not their fault. They're just not getting the help they need. So, right, I am staying indoors today, keeping safe, right? But, because, my son is not talking about me, okay? I'm talking about my mum. There's no need to come and attack me in the street, or aim your abuse at me, because I don't want it, and I will deal with it accordingly. No for inhaling drugs in this place from drug users. There's nothing you can do with that, because I phoned the police about that, and they told me at Lansdowne Court that people can do what they like in their own flats, which is totally untrue and a lie. The police told me that cannabis in 2008 was absolutely legal, when it wasn't. It's a drug. So this is all I get, cover-ups. It's not madness, guys. They cover abuse up, because half the time the police are involved in it themselves. Could be a corrupt police officer, right? But laughing at a chronically mentally ill woman, she could do somebody harm, and I certainly don't want it to be me. It's a well-known fact that schizophrenics, they have split personalities and they think they're other people. And they will adamantly believe they're God, they're Jesus Christ, and they're not. And it's not their fault, it's an illness. But my mum is not getting any help whatsoever, right? And she should be. I'm not saying she should be plied full of drugs. Nobody wants to be put full of pills. But, can you tell me how she managed to convince workers she was completely normal and they just don't help her anymore? And that she was, my dad was a bad man any big way, but how was she able to look after a man with heart disease when she believes that she's somebody else? My dad had to keep my mum under control. He did tell her to shut up. And he did stop her from ringing me because she was constantly on the phone and harassing me all the time. Right. So when I told my mum that my dad had been touching me, instead of reporting it to the police or dealing with it, my mum got jealous. And then accused me of being her, and instead of helping me, I got punished because my dad touched me when I wanted some help and support from my mother. And she would say that I was trying to copy her.